Have you ever pondered about the sun's destructive side? It's a question that may seem strange, given our sun is the life-giving force that fuels our planet. However, like a coin with two faces, the sun harbors a destructive side that belies its warm, comforting glow. This fiery celestial body, while bathing our world in light and warmth, also holds the potential to unleash chaos, a force so powerful that it could disrupt the very fabric of our modern lives. This is not a tale from a science fiction novel, but a stark reality that scientists and researchers grapple with every day. The sun, our source of life, could also be a source of devastating destruction. But what is this destructive force that we're talking about? What could possibly have such a profound impact on our world, you may ask? The answer lies in two words: solar flares. Solar flares, simply put, are huge eruptions of energy from the sun. They're like the sun's version of a volcanic eruption, but on a scale so immense it's hard to fully grasp. These flares are born deep within the sun's core, where intense heat and pressure cause hydrogen atoms to collide and fuse to form helium. This process, known as nuclear fusion, releases an incredible amount of energy. But what exactly is a solar flare made of? Well, it's a cocktail of high-energy particles and radiation. This includes electrons, protons, and heavier particles, all supercharged and thrown out into space at speeds of up to a few million miles per hour. Alongside these particles, solar flares also emit a broad spectrum of radiation, from radio waves to X-rays and gamma rays. Solar flares occur when the sun's magnetic field lines twist and contort, building up energy. Eventually, this energy has to go somewhere, and that's when a solar flare happens. It's like snapping a tensioned rubber band, releasing all that pent-up energy in one explosive burst. The intensity of solar flares varies greatly. The smallest ones are akin to a regular volcanic eruption on Earth, while the largest, known as X-class flares, can be tens of thousands of times more powerful. These X-class flares are the ones that concern us most. They're the solar system's equivalent of a nuclear bomb, capable of releasing energy equivalent to billions of Hiroshima-sized atomic bombs. It's worth noting that not all solar flares head our way. The sun is constantly active, and solar flares can burst out in any direction. However, when one does head towards Earth, it's cause for concern. The high-energy particles and radiation can pose a serious threat to our planet's technology and infrastructure, and even our health. Now, what happens when these solar flares head towards Earth? We'll delve into that in the next scene. From power grids to human health, no aspect of life on Earth is immune to the potential chaos that a severe solar flare can unleash. When a solar flare is directed towards Earth, it releases a massive amount of energy and particles. Imagine, if you will, a colossal wave of energy, hurtling through space at nearly the speed of light. This is what happens when a solar flare erupts from the surface of the sun and heads towards our planet. The consequences? Well, they can be quite severe. The first thing you'd likely notice is the lights going out. Solar flares can cause significant disturbances in our power grids, resulting in widespread blackouts. Picture the world plunged into darkness, streetlights extinguished, homes without power, and cities cast into shadow. But it doesn't stop at the lights. Our transportation systems, heavily reliant on electrical power, would also be in jeopardy. Trains would grind to a halt, traffic lights would fail, causing chaos on the roads, and even airplanes could be affected, their navigation systems potentially thrown into disarray. And what about our communication networks? In this digital age, we are more connected than ever before, but a severe solar flare could disrupt these connections. Mobile phone signals could be lost, internet connections severed, and satellite communications could be significantly affected, isolating us from each other in a time when communication could be essential. Even our voyages into the cosmos are not immune. Satellites orbiting the Earth, vital for everything from GPS to weather forecasting, could be damaged by the intense radiation, and future space missions could be jeopardized. In essence, a solar flare has the potential to send us back to the pre-electrical age, if only temporarily, disrupting our daily lives in ways we can hardly imagine. And this is just the impact on our technology. But it's not just our technology that's at risk. The Earth's magnetic field, our shield against the solar wind, could also be affected, exposing us to harmful radiation. But that's a story for the next scene. For now, let's take a moment to appreciate the sun, not just as our source of light and life, but also as a force of incredible power and potential destruction. Solar flares can disrupt the Earth's magnetic field, exposing us to harmful radiation. Imagine our planet, enrobed by an invisible protective layer, the magnetic field. This shield helps deflect a significant amount of solar radiation that the sun constantly emits. However, during intense solar flare events, this shield is subjected to extreme stress and can falter, allowing increased solar radiation to reach the Earth's surface. What does this mean for us, the inhabitants of this planet? Well, exposure to increased solar radiation can lead to a multitude of health issues. One of the most significant risks associated with solar radiation is the increased chance of developing skin cancer. Ultraviolet radiation, a component of solar radiation, is a known carcinogen. It can cause DNA damage in skin cells, which over time can lead to skin cancer. But it's not just skin cancer we need to be worried about. Solar radiation can also lead to cataracts, a clouding of the eye's lens which can impair vision. Furthermore, it can weaken our immune system, making our bodies more susceptible to diseases. The risks are even higher for astronauts in space, who without the protection of the Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field are exposed to the full brunt of solar radiation. Children, the elderly, and individuals with a compromised immune system are particularly vulnerable. Increased solar radiation can exacerbate existing health conditions in these groups, leading to a decline in overall health and well-being. To put it simply, while the sun is essential for life on Earth, its flares can pose a significant threat to human health. The potential for widespread health issues resulting from a severe solar flare event is a sobering reminder of our vulnerability to the forces of nature. So what are we doing to protect ourselves and our planet? Scientists keep a close eye on the sun's activity to provide early warnings about potentially devastating solar flares. This vigilant monitoring is our first line of defense against the chaos that these cosmic eruptions can unleash. From dedicated solar observatories to intricate satellite networks, an array of tools helps us keep tabs on our volatile star. Scientists around the globe collaborate, sharing data and insights to better understand and predict solar flare events. The goal is not just to react, but to anticipate, to know when a flare might occur and to estimate its potential impact. This way, we can take measures to protect our technology and infrastructure even before the flare hits. But monitoring is just one part of the equation. Mitigation strategies are equally important. Governments, organizations, and even private companies are working tirelessly to develop measures that shield our technology and minimize the impact of solar flares. Efforts range from hardening power grids, to designing radiation-resistant satellites, to developing protocols that can quickly shut down vulnerable systems during a solar storm. One such example is the development of sophisticated forecasting systems that predict space weather, much like we predict Earth's weather. These systems can provide timely alerts, allowing operators to take protective actions, such as powering down satellites or adjusting flight paths to avoid communication blackouts. Furthermore, research into new materials and technologies is underway to create more resilient infrastructure. The aim is to build a world that can withstand the sun's tantrums without plunging into darkness. But while these efforts are crucial, they're not enough on their own. As we continue to depend more and more on technology, we must also strive to make our systems inherently resistant to solar flares. We need to weave resilience into the very fabric of our technological world. Preparation is key, but there's more we can do. As we continue to explore the vastness of space, let's not forget the power of our own star and the potential chaos it can unleash on our planet. Let's use our knowledge and innovation to protect our Earth, our technology, and ultimately, our future. Renewable energy sources like solar power are less vulnerable to the destructive power of solar flares. This might seem counterintuitive given that solar power, as the name suggests, is derived from the sun. However, it's precisely this connection that gives solar power its resilience. Solar panels actually harness the sun's energy, converting it into electricity that we can use. This process is not disrupted by solar flares because it doesn't rely on the same kind of technological infrastructure that solar flares often damage. Rather, it's a direct conversion of solar energy into usable power. In addition to solar power, there are other forms of renewable energy that can help minimize the impact of solar flares on our power supply. Wind energy, for instance, is another strong contender. Wind turbines capture the kinetic energy of the wind and convert it into electricity. As with solar power, this process is not reliant on susceptible technology, making it less vulnerable to solar flares. Hydropower, too, can play a significant role. It's a form of renewable energy that uses the force of moving water to generate electricity. This is a process that has been in use for centuries, long before the advent of the vulnerable technologies we use today. Tidal and geothermal energy, while less widespread, also offer potential solutions. These renewable energy sources tap into the natural forces of our planet, converting them into usable power. They are not affected by solar flares and provide a reliable source of energy, regardless of the sun's activity. Embracing these renewable energy sources not only has environmental benefits, but it also increases our resilience against solar flares. They provide a sustainable solution that can help us maintain power supplies even in the face of this celestial threat. So, as we continue to explore space, let's not forget our own star. It's a source of vast energy, but it's also a source of potential disruption. By harnessing the power of renewable energy, we can minimize the impact of solar flares and ensure that our world keeps turning, even when the sun throws us a curveball. The sun, our star, holds immense power, capable of both sustaining life and unleashing chaos. As we've seen, this radiant giant, while life-giving, also harbors a potentially destructive side. Solar flares, these colossal eruptions of energy, pose a real threat to our planet and way of life. These eruptions release a staggering amount of energy and particles, which, when directed towards Earth, can cause considerable damage. The impact on our technology and infrastructure is significant. Disrupting power grids and causing widespread blackouts, they can plunge us into a world of chaos and confusion. Transportation systems malfunction, communication networks falter, and we find ourselves in a precarious situation, cut off from the world and each other. Solar flares don't just threaten our technological advancements, but also our health. In disrupting the Earth's magnetic field, we're exposed to harmful radiation, a risk that is as tangible as it is invisible. But it's not all doom and gloom. Scientists are diligently monitoring the sun's activity, providing early warnings about these potentially devastating solar flares. Governments and organizations are working relentlessly to develop measures that protect our technology and minimize the impact of these events. We're also looking to renewable energy sources, like solar power, which are less susceptible to the destructive power of solar flares. In this way, we're turning a potential threat into an opportunity for innovation and sustainability. As we journey further into the cosmos, the power of our own star serves as a reminder of the potential chaos it can unleash on our planet. It underscores the importance of understanding and preparing for solar flares, of safeguarding our world and future against these celestial events. Our star is a source of life, warmth, and light, but we must also recognize its potential for destruction and chaos. Preparedness and understanding are our best defense against the devastating impact of solar flares. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content about the wonders and dangers of our universe.